Good afternoon. It's 1 o'clock. I'm Luciano, PPA. Unsettled weather today. The temperature right now, the freezing mark 0. Full weather coming up after the news. Here's what's making news right now. A player with the Canadiens is traded.
A bit of slush, but not much accumulation.
Active weather this afternoon and saying goodbye to the man they called America's pastor. From the CJAD 800 Traffic Center, what's going on now? Kira Yeager.
Luciano, we have an accident right now. It's in Saint-Eustache on the 640 eastbound before Arthur Sauvé. It will cost you about a 10-minute wait time. And there's also a slowdown on the 15 north. That slowdown is due to a ramp closure, though. And it is off limits, 15 north onto Decarie North in the Turcotte interchange. So you're backed up heavily over at Atwater. That looks like a 20-minute delay. Plus, you have a detour to take to get around that closure. And that, too, is somewhat time-consuming. If you're heading downtown, simply avoid all that by using the Bonaventure Auto Route. MontrealJobShop.ca is the place to find great local employers looking to hire someone with your talents. Find your next great local job on MontrealJobShop.ca. Traffic and transit every 15 minutes on CJAD 800. Next report, 1:15.
In the news, Thomas Buchanan is no longer a member of the Montreal Canadiens. He and Kyle Baun have been traded to the Maple Leafs for defenseman Rinat Valiev and forward Kirby Reichel, as well as a 2018 second-round draft pick. TSN 690's Rick Moffat says speculation had it Habs GM Marc Bergevin would only get a fourth-round pick for Buchanan, whose production has been dropping.
Instead, Bergevin is able to pull off getting a second-round pick, prospect from the Leaf system who still could have some upside at the NHL level, and this is a win. Not a major coup by any stretch, but a win for Marc Bergevin, who is under heavy criticism of the weight of great expectations on the part of fans. 35-year-old Buchanan had 6 goals and 18 assists in 60 games with the Habs this season. Montreal originally selected him in the third round, 71 overall in the 2001 NHL draft. Other big story today, it's back to actual winter driving conditions. It looks like it's all in today's forecast. Snow, ice pellets, freezing rain, and rain this afternoon. Also tack on gusty winds, 40 to 50 at times. Environment Canada meteorologist Bruno Marquis says we're not getting a whole lot of mixed precipitation.
A little bit of snow that we got earlier, and then that ice pellet and freezing rain mixture there. So, a bit of slush, but not much accumulation. I guess probably 2 to 3 centimeters with the mix there. So that will be about it.
Take extra care behind the wheel. Montreal Police spokesman Benoit Boissel says, among other things, slow down, keep your distance from the person in front of you. Also,
sometimes you have to step lightly on the gas and on the brake to avoid any bad moving with your car, so that can cause a collision also.
Weather details, as we said, after the news. In other news today, Ontario Provincial Police are now investigating Friday evening's discovery of 4 bodies in a home in a small community near Huntsville as a triple murder-suicide. Detective Inspector Martin Graham says police believe a man killed 2 women and another man before killing himself. He says 3 of the dead were members of the same family who lived in the home.
The bodies were all found in the residence as a result of somebody attending the residence on Friday evening, discovering the tragic scene and calling 911.
Graham says the alleged killer was not related to the others by blood and lived nearby. They'll bid farewell this week to the man known as America's pastor.
The body of the Reverend Billy Graham will lie in repose Monday and Tuesday at his library in his hometown of Charlotte, North Carolina. His body will lie in honor at the U.S. Capitol Wednesday and Thursday. There will be an invitation-only funeral in Charlotte on Friday.
We do know that President Trump will be coming, and we were pleased to hear that President Bush and Laura Bush were coming on Monday because of a conflict they have next Friday.
Mark DeBoss is a spokesman for Graham's Evangelistic Association. Jim Crisula, CBS News, Greensboro, North Carolina.
Send tips and photos to your story at CJAD.com. From the Dormiville Weather Center, snow mixed with ice pellets this afternoon. Freezing rain changing to a few showers. Expecting 3 centimeters of snow and ice in Montreal, 3 centimeters of snow in Laval. Gusty winds, a high 5. Clearing this evening with gusty winds, a low of -1. Tomorrow, sun and cloud. Again, gusty winds up to 50, a high of 5. Temperature right now in Montreal, the freezing mark 0. I'm Luciano, PPA. Next update at 1:30. Breaking news as it happens. News Talk Radio, CJAD 800.
The opinions expressed in the following program are provided for general information purposes only and should not be construed as advice from CJAD 800 or Bell Media. Listeners should always consult their own real estate agent with questions or concerns. The following is sponsored content.
The Real Estate Show on CJAD 800. Your real estate and mortgaging questions answered with Terry Kilakos, president of Northeast Mortgages. Here's your host, Chantal Desjardins.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to The Real Estate Show, featuring Terry Kilakos, president of Northeast Mortgages and chartered mortgage broker. Looking good today, Terry. Got the toque on.
Thank you. I'm cold, that's why.
It's not nice out.
And as I said, if Gary V can do it, I can do it.
It is what you said. And you guys are almost twins. I'm Chantal Desjardins. Not quite. We're live every Sunday here on CJAD 1 to 2 p.m. You can also watch us on Facebook Live. We're set up, right? We're good to go? We look good?
Facebook Live is up and running.
Up and running.
Yep.
Head over to Terry Kilakos' Facebook profile and follow the fun. Today on the show, we've got a special guest joined by Jamie Benizri from Legal Logik. We're going to tackle demystifying contracts because it is very important to understand what you're signing before you sign it.
Chantal, we're making contracts fun again.
We're making them fun. Yeah. Make contracts fun again. As we're gonna have hats and we're gonna hand them out. Before we get into today's topic, did you know that besides being fun and informative, we also save lives here on the...
You know what? You mentioned something about it as we were coming in. I want to hear more about this. So please do tell.
Okay, so we're going to get him on air in a minute or two. Let me just pull up his number so we can do this. You guys carry the show for a second.
All right, no problem. Well, you know what? Well, how about we start with a little bit of a market update, okay?
No, I'm back. Let's save that.
Back? That's it? Really?
I just had to hand over the guy's phone number because I'm at...
So you had to show it through the screen?
Through the screen, okay. so that we can call him.
Modern technology.
Yeah. Because I was doing a comedy show on Friday night, and the host, Ali Mohammadi, introduces me as... the girl that saved my life on the real estate show. And I was like, what are you talking about? And then he has this amazing story about listening to you and I saved his life.
Okay, I have to hear this.
Okay, Ali, we have Ali on the line. Ali, you there?
Ali's not there.
I'm right here.
Oh, Ali. All right. So give us the story about how the real estate not only is entertaining and informative, but also might save your life.
Yes, absolutely. I think it was sometime in November. I was driving near Angrignon, and I was listening to you guys. Terry was talking about the rate increases and people with variable rates. And I stopped the car to listen carefully, to take notes. And a car behind me passed me and got in an accident in front of me.
Oh, my God.
So I would have lived through the accident, but it saved me a lot of headache.
That is amazing.
How great is that?
I love it.
Yeah, physical and mental headache.
That is awesome. That's awesome. So not only do we save lives, but we do mortgages.
We do mortgages.
And real estate.
And I must say, if I had gotten in an accident, I have a good lawyer. He's sitting right next to you, Terry. So.
Oh, there you go.
That's true. Me and Ali go way back. One of the funniest Persians I know in the city.
And the only Persian he knows, by the way.
I know many Persians, but you are by far one of my favorite.
Oh, thank you very much.
All right, thanks, Ali.
Not a problem. Terry, do I win a mortgage or what?
Yeah, no problem. Come in, do your mortgage. We'll set something up for you.
1%, 5 years. I'm good to go.
All right.
Thanks,
guys.
Thanks, Ali.
Cheers, man.
So, moral of the story: listen to the show. We'll save your life.
Yeah, I love it. I
love that story. Isn't that so great?
A little side note, right? And I've said this before. I've had people come into the office, right? Because we have notaries in the office, and people have come in. They sit down, they're waiting at reception, and they'll see me leaving. And they're like, oh my God, you're the guy that does the real estate show. And I'm like, yeah, I listen to you all the time. Oh my God, it's fantastic. Thanks to you, I'm buying my house. Thanks to you, my wife is pregnant. Thanks to you, this. Whatever. There's all kinds of stuff.
Pregnant.
I don't know, whatever. There's all kinds of weird stuff that happens during the real estate show. I have this one client who every time their renewal comes up, she gets pregnant. I have nothing to do with it. I'm just saying.
You're making that
up.
No,
I am not making it up. But anyways, okay. I think they just timed their babies with the renewal. But
yeah, possibly that might be what's up.
So this guy's like, yeah, I'm so happy. He goes, before I go in to sign for my mortgage, he goes, do you mind like looking it over? So I'm like, okay. So I look at it, and it was a bank that we don't normally send people to, right? And I'm looking at it, so I'm going, one of my brokers sent you and set this up for you. I mean, it was just terrible.
Right.
It was like the whole thing. And he's like, no, I went to my bank. And I'm like, why the hell did you go to your bank for?
Yeah.
And he's like, well, I go, why didn't you just come here? I would have said, if we helped you structure everything by listening to the show, imagine what we could have done when you're actually sitting in studio with us. Right? Sorry, in our
the office. You don't get to come on the air just because you get a mortgage.
And although we've had a couple of clients.
I'm not saying it's a no.
Yeah. And he's like, well, he goes, I didn't know you actually did mortgages. I thought you were just like on the radio.
The radio guy.
And I'm like, really, dude?
That's what people say to me. They think I'm a made-for-TV lawyer. They're like, I can actually hire you to do real legal work.
In their defense, you look like you could be a made-for-TV lawyer. Like you play a lawyer on
people
TV.
have called me the Kim Kardashian of law.
Right.
and I guess I'm okay with that. But yes, I still do go to court.
Your ass.
I mean, that's why it cost me $6 million to insure.
Well, on that note, why don't we get into a market update? What do you say, boys?
All right, let's do this. Okay, so quick market update. March 7th, Bank of Canada is supposed to be meeting to talk about whether or not they're going to be raising the overnight rate. Now, there's a couple of interesting things that have happened over the last few months as the Bank of Canada has raised rates. Inflation has dropped. Now, the target that the Bank of Canada has set for inflation is 2%. Right now, we're hovering at 1.7, and the Canadian dollar is at around 80 cents to the US dollar. So based on everything that is going on right now, indicators are pointing that they wouldn't raise rates. However, the Bank of Canada is saying we will raise rates. So whether or not, well, they said they're going to raise it at some point this year. Whether or not they're going to be doing it March 7th or they're going to do it at some point in June or July, that remains to be seen. Right now, a lot of economists are saying that it's going to happen in June. But with the way things are going, I wouldn't be surprised if they decide to pull the trigger in March and leave it alone for the rest of the year. So that's the big news right now. March 7th is a really important date for people to be looking at. The other thing that's happening is there's a really sharp drop in the amount of listings that are going up in January of this year. We know that the mortgage rules changed, which means that anyone that's been listening to the show knows that we've had a really, really, really hard time qualifying for mortgages. Mm-hmm. People are having a hard time with the new mortgage rules. The stress tests are impacting people's buying power drastically. The average person, their buying power has dropped between $60,000 to $120,000.
So crazy.
Massive. So people that were thinking about upgrading their home, so let's say you were in that $450,000 house and you're thinking, you know what, I could sell this, I could upgrade, I can go into that $550,000 house. These people do not qualify anymore. So because they don't qualify, they're not selling, so they're staying put. What that's causing is it's causing a lack of inventory in the market, which is actually driving the price up on lower end homes. So homes that are priced in the 200s or 250s are actually selling really quickly, and they're sometimes selling over asking price. You get bidding wars because there's not a lot of inventory. So this is another thing that came up. And the banks basically came in and said, as of this year with the new mortgage rule, 20% of the mortgages are currently being denied by big banks. People have come in, they've done pre-approvals in November and December of last year. They're thinking, hey, I qualify for the mortgage. Now with the new stress test, 20% of those people no longer qualify. So it's an interesting time that we're looking forward to in 2018. I've said it before. Now more than ever, it's important to be dealing with someone that actually knows what they're talking about. Pick up the phone, call us, we'll sit down, we'll look at all your options, and we'll go from there.
And that has your best interest at heart. That was the biggest thing with me when I went with you, because I didn't know anything about mortgages, and I went in, if I were to deal with a bank, I'd just be like, yeah, that sounds good.
Yeah, and our whole way of doing business is education, right?
Yeah.
So we educate you, and then based on that, you make your proper decision.
I'm sold. That's the voice of Terry Kilakos, president of Northeast Mortgages and chartered mortgage broker. We're joined by Jamie Benizri from Legal Logik. We'll hear from him after the break, because we're going to demystify contracts. If you have questions for us, give us a call, 514-790-0800, or text us at 514-800, or check us out on Facebook. We're cute. You can also reach Terry anytime at Northeast Mortgages, 514-680-4674. Now, before we take a look at the roads, the Toronto Maple Leafs have acquired forward Thomas Plekanec. He is gone. and Kyle Bond from the Canadians. For defenseman, Reinhard Valiant, forward Kirby Reichel, and a 2018 second-round draft pick on Sunday. Now with a look at the roads, here's Kira Yeager.
We recently had an accident that was in Saint Eustache. It was on the 640 eastbound before Arthur.
What?
Yeah.
We are going at night.
Yeah.
Hot mic.
Hot mic.
Hot mic.
So, Jamie, what do you think?
So far, so good.
Jamie,
Good
star.
flow.
Good flowage.
Really good flow.
Real good. Real good, everybody.
I love the Mohammadi Colin. It's great.
Yeah, that was a fun way to start. You know? Love it.
He's good.
Like, I wouldn't say what I do typically saves lives. Like, I'm not a doctor, you know.
And I think you're not supposed to say the A.
That's my show. I can say whatever I want.
I think as long as you
block you?
as long as you do it with like a fun smile, you can
Like
do it.
maybe
I
you
find
could
that
say
helps me say
asset,
anything.
An asset.
Oh, an asset. That's good.
Yeah. But I mean, for
I'm happy that I'm the last show that they're going to be giving you on this.
Just 145. Thanks for getting them on.
Maria from Beaconsfield is on the line.
Oh, good.
And we have.
Do you want to get into her first?
Sorry guys, I'm just adjusting a little bit the camera angles.
Oh. All right, so do you want to take the call first?
Let's take the call.
Okay, what's her name again?
Maria from Beaconsfield.
Maria from Beaconsfield.
Guys, don't forget, really, really, really important.
Really?
Sign up. newsonthego.ca. It's our YouTube channel. You sign up to it. We're going to be giving away. Hold on, it's coming. Pull it out. We got some cash here. It's going to be given away.
Money clip. You get the money clip.
Tax-free cash. Yeah, that's right. Okay?
Yeah.
I don't think you're supposed to be showing that next one, Maria.
Well, it's going to be gone by the end of the show.
Do you want me to plug that on air too?
Yeah, plug it. Okay. We already had a whole bunch of subscribers, and you know what? Chances are, by next show, I might do a little bit of a pre-draw draw.
Oh, a pre-draw.
Pre-draw. Okay. Smooth. Because I like to reward people that take action. So, yeah, there's a very good chance that we're going to be doing a draw for the first 5 people that had subscribed after I mentioned the contest last week. Just saying, putting it out there.
Pre-draw.
Pre-draw.
Draw.
That's fun. Okay. Did you get through the whole market update that you were gonna
I
do?
did.
Good.
Jamie, what do you think?
Timing, that was
I think it's great.
Say a little something. Say hi, Mom.
Ma, if you're watching, I love you, and I'm going to make you proud today, I promise.
Also, Mom, did you just see Terry throw the worst? Like, you can't plan my softball.
Yeah, there are no Greek guys in the NBA, to my knowledge.
No, or
So, I
soccer.
don't know if you, or even hockey.
there is.
There are a couple hockey players.
Yeah.
A couple of Jewish guys and a couple of Greek guys. There's a Greek guy, and there was one in the NHL.
Yeah. We used to call him Scropolopoulos.
There's what's his name, Scropolopoulos, but there was what's his name, Chris Chelios. Chelios, it's true. Okay. Chris Chelios is a legend. Yeah, so there you go.
Okay, enough, boys, enough. I can't believe Thomas Botanic's gone. Is that not surprising?
You're back.
Oh, we gotta do a thing. Maria from Beaconsfield.
Maria.
Welcome back. Who was singing there? Was that
I
Jamie?
wanna
Was
slow
it Terry?
dance.
With Jamie? That would be.
No,
we're
no,
on
whatever.
Facebook Live right
Yeah.
now. I mean, we could do it. It's just not that kind of show.
Okay.
Terry
Maybe next time.
Kilakos, president of Northeast Mortgages, and Jamie Benizri from Legal Logik. Fun times. We'd also like to give away. You want to give away your money? Is that right?
I do want to give away my money.
How can people
right?
take your money?
Newsonthego.ca. It's
Okay.
our YouTube channel.
Yeah.
Go on there. Subscribe to the channel. In March, we are going to be doing a draw. I'm going to be giving away $300. $100 to 3 subscribers.
Of your own money. That's
Of
in your
my
money
own
right
money.
now.
I saw
That's in
the
my
money.
pocket.
I saw the money.
It's
Wait,
a
hold on.
wad. It's a
We
wad
didn't
of
even
cash.
say show me the money, and he showed us the money.
Wait.
It's in a
there.
It's in a money clip.
He called it a pre-draw draw.
Yeah.
Does anybody even use money clips anymore?
I use money clips.
Like,
okay?
did you run out of wallets? Like,
I don't use wallets. I don't believe in wallets.
you don't believe in wallets? That's a strange thing.
But what we might also be doing next week
Uh-huh.
is we might be doing a pre-draw draw.
Okay.
So before the draw for the $100, we're going to be doing a draw where I'm going to give $50 to one of the original 5 people that subscribed starting last week. Because when we mentioned this last week, we had a whole bunch of subscribers that went. They subscribed onto the onto News on the Go.
Right.
So I like to reward people that take action. So I'm going to do a draw on those original 5 that came in,
And then a pre-draw.
That's going to be next week.
Okay,
Free
that's
draw.
cool. If
Pre-draw draw.
anybody has a question for
Pre-draw
Terry
draw.
or Jamie or about pre-draw draws, 514-790-0800 or text us at 514-800 today on the show. We are demystifying contracts. So, Terry, what happened recently that made you want to discuss this subject today with a lawyer beside you?
Yeah. So I had one of our clients. He calls me up, and first words out of his mouth was, "Terry, I effed up."
Always a good call to get.
And I'm like, "What?" And he goes, "Oh my God." He goes, "I had this sixplex," and he was living in the sixplex, and he basically was like, he got kind of strong-armed, if you will, into listing it. According to him, he was like, "I'm just listing it because I want to see what the market is going to give me," right? He didn't actually think that it would sell. So
Yikes.
The offers came in. He countered. The counter offers were accepted.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Why didn't he counter way higher if he didn't actually
He
want to
did.
sell?
He did. And
Whoa,
it
good
was
for him.
accepted. And so he had no choice but to
Sell the
basically
place.
sell the place. And he called me in a panic after the people brought in the papers for the financing and the inspection passed and everything was good. He calls me and he's like, "I have like 2 months to leave to move, and I didn't want to sell my house." And he's like, "How can I get out of this?" And I'm like, "You have a contract.
Yeah.
You're going to have, there's damages." But I was like, the best thing to do is talk to a lawyer about this. And so we decided, let's bring in a lawyer to talk about just this.
Wow.
Right?
And here I am.
And here you
when
are.
When your client calls you and says, "I effed up," I mean, you automatically think of me.
Yeah.
That's the first thought. Let's call Benizri
Right.
and see what we can do here.
Well, now I want to know what happened. Can we talk about how it all played out for this guy? Did he have to move out?
I have no clue.
Okay.
Yeah, he's decided, you know what, he's going to sell, because I think he contacted the real estate brokers, and the real estate brokers were like, "You can't do that.
Yeah.
First of all, we're going to sue you for our commission." And so he was like, "Whatever, I'm going to sell." But you want to kind of elaborate?
I definitely want to chime in.
What happens if someone wants
this
to?
happens all the time, and we see there's a lot of cracks in the system now, in the legal system now, because of the mortgage rules. There's tightening. We're seeing corrections in the market, and like you said, the prices are going up, and people can't even afford. They put a promise to purchase in, bam, the rules change. They don't realize that they can't qualify for the house that they've bargained for, that they've negotiated for, and they're trying to they either have to back out or they can't sell their home. It's causing a lot of problems in the market. So what we're seeing is a promise to purchase, that little contract that you sign to test the market.
Yeah.
In Terry's client's case, is a validly binding contract. So if you're going out there putting out teasers and you're playing the game, leading people on, you got to be careful what you ask for, because it can come back and bite you in the assets.
I
right.
see what you
Literally.
did there.
If you know what I'm saying.
Bum.
Assets.
If you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So in this case, unfortunately, he's bound to it. And what happens? The other party, disgruntled, obviously, who maybe got a good deal on that property, they can go Hail Mary, file the lawsuit. It might take 3 years to go in front of a judge and get that judgment saying, "Excuse me, sir, please transfer your property, politely to the man who bargained for it." It could take 3 years, but if with a determined party. They can take you to court, unfortunately.
And is there a way for him to back out at all? Is there any way to get out of it?
You can't back out. So obviously, once you're bound consensually in a contract, the only way to unbind or undo is consensual.
Wow.
Yeah.
Now, is there a difference between signing an offer to purchase with a broker involved compared to directly with a seller?
That's a great question. So obviously, we see a lot of do-it-yourself kits on the market.
Yeah.
So people are doing it themselves. They're trying to save on commission. And so it's kind of created also a ripple effect in the market. And a lot of people are saying, "Hey, you know what? I want to try for the first time. I want to try it myself." So they'll call, the market leaders and do-it-yourself kits.
Yep.
They'll do it. They'll ask a friend. They'll ask a lawyer. But what the real value by getting a broker involved is that there's a professional who's actually going to be looking over some of the things that you'll never think about. What happens if the guy who's selling you the property doesn't leave, just refuses to leave after the notary?
Well, you just live with him now.
You live with it, maybe, maybe. If it
came with a house,
it's just like a full house
I mean,
effect,
if you can cook or...
like John Stamos in the attic kind of an effect. But if it's not, if he's unwanted in this case,
right?
What do you do? Well, if you don't put in a clause about kind of renting him back the property for the time that he spends there, you're out of luck. You can't claim anything from him. So the broker is really instrumental in really going through some of the nitty-gritty about what the realities of signing an offer is. So they're really putting their professional liability on the line, and they're supposed to be counseling you along the way.
And it's one of these things that I never quite understood. There's a lot of people, obviously, they want to use like those, kind of let's sell it yourself type of thing.
To save some money.
Save some money. Oh my Lord. Like, what's going on? Like, seriously, you're talking about hundreds upon hundreds of thousands of dollars.
You're trying
right?
to save like 15 grand or
and
whatever.
You're trying to nickel and dime and save a little here and save a little there. It doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
The same thing goes for notaries. People will try and nickel and dime their notary, save $100 here, save $50 here. Hello, this person's responsible for a transaction that's probably one of the biggest transactions you're going to make in your life, and you're trying to nickel and dime them. Come on,
Totally.
like it doesn't make sense. There's some logic that needs to go in. We actually have a caller from Maria. Do we have time to get to her?
Oh, Maria, we're gonna have to wait till after the break.
Okay, all right.
Sorry, Maria, we're gonna make it extra good for you.
Hang in there, Maria.
That's the voice of Terry Kilakos, president of Northeast Mortgages, and Jamie Benizri from Legal Logik. If you have questions for Terry, like Maria, who we'll get to right away, give us a call, 514-790-0800, or text us at 514-800. You can always reach Terry at Northeast Mortgages at 514-680-4674, or check us out on Facebook Live and send us a message there. That's it for right now. We'll be back in just a few minutes with Maria.
The Real Estate Show is brought to you by Northeast Mortgages.
Maria.
She's so
Sorry,
patient.
Maria.
She
Patient,
reminds me
patient
of a
lady.
West
I hope you
Side
can't see
Story.
me in your footage.
That's fine. That's fine.
Let's see. We
Yeah,
don't see
you
you.
look good, you look
We
good,
don't
you
see you.
look You look good. You look good.
I look good. I look good. A liar.
Are you?
What a good
how's it-
husband.
how's it-
Right,
how's it-
right,
It's
hot.
very good.
It's good flow?
Yeah. Is it live?
It's live.
The mic's live?
Chantal,
The
what do
next
you
live,
think
you
of
could say
the
any stupidity you want right now.
Fun. Good energy, everybody.
Good.
Everyone's doing great.
Good. Chantal Desjardins mentioned me in a comment.
So I didn't ask when it comes to the promise of purchase, is a contract legally binding? Should I still, because we
I think we
Well, I
touched on
think
that.
he's mentioned
Yeah, I think we touched on that.
Let's see what Maria has to say.
Yeah, Maria. Oh, I can't believe I let her on hold all the time.
Poor Maria.
We're coming.
Just lead people on.
Maria, Maria. Oh, dear.
You need to twist it.
Twist.
No, you gotta unlock it.
I know, but I want to do a tad of a twist. Voila. I wanted a little bit more of Chantal. Yay.
No. So the diet's going well, by the way.
Oh, I didn't even ask you about
Just
it.
wanna tell
Too
you.
busy
Oh
thinking
yeah,
about how
it's
he
true.
saved
We're
lives.
very impressed with
Almost
the
at
guy.
179.
Are you guys all on the same diet?
No, I'm.
No.
Why don't you stand up and show everyone your progress, Terry?
Yeah, Terry, give us a little,
Do I show everything?
No, like with
Nobody
clothes.
wants to see everything.
With clothes,
Did you know
please.
Did you
that
know?
for every 10 pounds
You
that a
lose?
guy loses,
An angel gets its wings?
he gets like a centimeter somewhere? Oh my god. It's true.
Okay, no.
She's shocked. She looks shocked.
No, I was shocked because I thought we were going on air or something. 'Cause,
No, it's just having a conversation.
No, it's true.
with you.
It's true.
every time what?
I think it's like for every 10 pounds you gain a centimeter.
No, you don't.
Yep.
You're just
It's an old
making
Greek
that up.
urban legend.
That is just
Telling you.
ridiculous.
Yeah, it's
So
true.
at this point, you're at what, like 12 centimeters?
Yes, Chantal Desjardins.
I'll be here all day. I'll be here all day. There are just going to be... Okay, so we're going to get to Maria. Then we're going to get to number 6 on the old Questeroos.
Hold on.
Brokers'
Just
commissions
have
are
to-
not nickels and dimes anymore. I agree. But it's up to you to negotiate those nickels and dimes.
Yeah. Is that Maria?
No, that's another one.
No,
You
that's,
can
just a
bring
comment.
you can bring that up.
Just a
Like,
comment.
I'm going to bring that up. Let's get to Maria. Mind you, we're not going to have time to get to Maria because it's 1:29.
we'll get to her after this little break thing.
Maybe you just want to grab her and tell her. Maybe he can just tell her to hold on. Give me a sec here.
So, you like things?
I like things. You like things?
Terry, can you just lean in? I want to see where's your Because I think Jamie's mic now is...
You're supposed to announce the Luciano.
No, I'm not. No,
she's
I'm not. I was like, what?
You were supposed to announce.
And now Luciano Papilla,
Yeah, he
who's
was actually
also
waiting
on a
for
killer
you.
diet that's dropped like...
That's a keto one? No bread?
Keto, yeah.
What?
You know that
No
I
carbs.
told his daughter that one day I will moon his father. Her father.
Her father.
Her father, yeah.
Like through the glass?
Through the glass. It
Because
will
Luciano is like right behind Terry, so he has to stare at the back of Terry's head all the time.
I'm trying to position this in a way that's comfortable for you, but that's not in the way.
Let's see.
That's too far from me.
Yeah, that's what I'm
I'll
wondering.
lean in, it's okay.
Hi guys.
Just 'cause your face
Hi.
is-
What
Hi,
up,
everybody.
Chantal?
Hey, just
Hey,
doing a real
what's
estate
up?
show. Real
What up?
estate showsies. We're live on the Facebook Live on a bunch of
On
different-
the Facebook.
On the Facebook.
You're
You
the
know
only
that-
person I know who says
know
the
they-
Facebook.
My mom
The
says it. My
Facebook.
mom says it.
They dropped the out of Facebook. It used to be the Facebook.
No, man.
Yeah.
No.
Yes.
No, you're just
No
making that up.
way.
Chantal, this
Yes.
is the Instagram.
The
She puts a
Instagram.
V.
That's fun. Guys, this is a fun show. It went very fast.
Facebook Live.
Way too fast,
Real estate
people.
show.
Are you
Way
ready?
too fast.
Here's a little bit of trivia for everyone.
Ready.
Okay.
Hold on.
That was very anticlimactic.
The Facebook website was launched on February 4, 2014.
Tell me more.
Hold on. Wait. I just saw it.
No, this is a real good story.
Wow, amazing.
Real good.
Wow.
Real good.
Wow, I'm waiting for the
You know
climax.
Never mind.
That was
Oh
good.
yeah, it was changed
That was
in
amazing.
2012. The D was dropped out of Facebook.
That, who dropped that? The?
The.
Yeah, the Zuck called it.
Well, it's like
what was the first
the,
version of
the
it?
Gap
The
and the
Facebook.
Home Depot.
Oh,
they
no,
dropped
no,
it
it
in,
was,
in Quebec.
not the
Did they
social
really?
media. That was
Yeah.
I
It
didn't
was
know
the
that.
first one
Yes,
in
the
the
Gap,
the
the Home
dorm room
Depot.
version.
There's
Zuckerberg
like
World
Yeah,
Woman
it's not still
called
the
the
Gap?
Face
No,
Mash in
yeah.
2003.
Face Mash.
In the rest
Face
of
mash.
the Canada, we
And
say
the
the
Gap.
Gap.
Yeah.
The Gap.
The Gap. We
But
say
it's
the
not.
Gap.
There's
Yeah.
the on the actual logo.
But-
No?
I don't know because
No.
No.
Here it's
No.
Gap. Here it's just Gap and
Just
Home
Gap.
Depot.
What happened to the?
The
We got another
said,
text to
"I'm
deal with
hungry."
after too. Frank's tired. Frank texted us.
Well,
We
we'll
have any
pick up
good-
the call first,
Yeah,
and
of
then
course,
we'll
from
ask
Maria.
Jamie a couple of questions and then hit the text.
So should I skip 6 and go to 7 then?
Which one was 6?
6 was one for Terry.
Terry,
Well,
your
let's
call?
go to
That's a good
Maria.
one. Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah,
Let's go to Maria.
and then the text, and then go to 7, so Jamie can jump in and then go back to 6.
So the equation is a good one. 7's a good one.
Yeah. Yeah, let's do
Nine's
that.
They're all
Let's do
good. They're all good.
Good, dear.
Just
Good.
let it
Good.
roll.
You have a
Have
good
fun
producer,
with
that's
it.
why.
I don't do
Your
fun.
producer's on the ball.
I don't do fun.
Take the clothes off.
It's
Wow.
back.
It's
It's
naked
back.
radio, everyone.
Take a moment to imagine your new Honda Civic, Canada's top-selling car for 20 years in a row. Is it the Civic DX, now from just $52 a week? Or is it the beautifully equipped new Civic Special Edition, now from just $69 a week, on an approved credit, no cash down, 60-month lease with 260 payments, 12 cents per kilometer, over 120,000. Now, I know it's a tough decision, so head over to your Honda dealer for a test drive today. Details at hondaquebec.ca.
Today's Entrepreneur highlights inspiring Quebec business owners every week. This week, we welcome Bruce Tackefman of Research Consultants International. Many service professionals long to find that product to sell in addition to its time-based services. Bruce will share with us the steps he took to create their business intelligence platform, FDI 365, and we'll also delve into some of the challenges entrepreneurs face when they look to buy or sell a business.
Join FL Fuller Landau's Josh Miller and me, Dan Delmar, for Today's Entrepreneur, tomorrow night at 7 on News Talk Radio, CJAD 800.
How Bell makes network speeds better.
When it comes to mobile network speeds, the Bell network easily takes the gold. In fact, network speeds in Montreal are faster than those in New York, Tokyo, Tel Aviv, Helsinki, Moscow, Paris, Brussels, Shanghai, Los Angeles, Bangkok, Mexico City, Rio de Janeiro, Buenos Aires, and many more.
Get on Canada's best national network today. For more details, visit bell.ca/network. Bell. Living in Canada just got better.
Honey, we should go variable on our mortgage. We'll save more money.
I prefer the security of fixed payments. Let's call Terry Kilakos.
I'm Terry Kilakos. Deciding between a fixed or variable rate is an important decision. Whether you're purchasing your first home or renewing an existing mortgage, one appointment with me is like meeting with over 20 financial institutions. Let me help guide you to make the right decision for your situation. Call me today at 514-680-4674.
Let Terry Kilakos and his team of mortgage brokers with Northeast Mortgages help you. It's simple and it's free. Call 514-680-4674.
All right, let's go.
The executive producers of Grey's Anatomy take you 3 blocks down and into the fire.
Captain doesn't have a pulse.
CTV Thursdays, starting March 22nd.
Every fire put out, every life saved. We're Seattle firefighters.
Real heroes. Risk it all.
I do this job because I love it. Station 19 is where we choose to be.
Station 19.
You're about as badass as they come.
Thursdays, starting March 22nd on CTV. Right after Grey's Anatomy.
Northeast Mortgages presents The Real Estate Show with Chantal Desjardins and Terry Kilakos. Live online and on CJAD 800.
Welcome back, everybody. Terry Kilakos, president of Northeast Mortgages, on The Real Estate Show. We've got Jamie Benizri from Legal Logik, myself, Chantal Desjardins, and we have Maria, who has been patiently waiting on hold for how long?
Maria, are you there?
How long have we been waiting? How long has she been on hold?
It was 20 minutes.
No, it wasn't.
It was 20 minutes.
Maria,
yeah.
I take the blame for that, but Terry's going to pay for it because this is how it works. So we appreciate
First
you
of all,
staying.
is Maria there?
Yes,
Maria,
I'm here.
You're there? Okay. Maria, I have a very important question to ask you. Have you signed up to our YouTube channel?
I have not.
You have not? Okay, you have to. Okay, newsonthego.ca. And what I'd like you to do, send me, because you waited so patiently, okay, I'm going to send you $50. So send me your email address, and I will send you $50 e-transfer today.
Thank you.
All right? So please go ahead with your,
What's
your question.
All right. So this is something I've never really heard of before, and I've done my own mortgages in the past, so I'm familiar with the basic stuff. But what happens when the mortgage comes up for renewal, but you're dealing with an estate? So, long story short, my mother passed away, and I have to deal with the estate issues, and the house may not sell by the time the mortgage is up for renewal. What happens in cases like that? And there's no assets really to back up the mortgage other than the house itself.
So typically, I mean, I'll let Jamie chime in on it as well. But typically, as long as the estate's been paying the mortgage and the lender is okay with it, there is a couple of lenders that want that mortgage to be transferred out. But if you're taking steps towards it being pulled out of the estate or sold or whatnot, that should be fine. And typically, they'll probably renew it on a 1 year or on a short-term basis, and hopefully it'll sell. Jamie, do you have anything to add to that?
I was just going to say, as long as there's the legally nominated, the executor, the liquidator, they've been named by by a will, either probate process. That's what will typically happen. We'll go on a short-term basis, and we'll actually see this. We're looking to sell this as the largest asset within the estate. So that's what Terry said is accurate from a legal perspective as well.
Well, now what happens if, say, the cash flow runs out within the estate and there's no cash flow left to maintain the payments on a monthly basis?
You put it back on the market, right? Before that 60-day notice comes in, before any defaults come in, there's a little bit of a window for you to put it on the market, work with your broker, and get it on the market as quickly as possible.
Now, if I personally start assuming the mortgage payments to help things move along, does anything happen? Do I become personally liable if I'm thinking of just dumping money into the estate account to make sure that the mortgage payments get paid, but not, so I'm just wondering if there's any liability.
That's a very good question. So there's no liability just because you assume certain payments, whether it's in a commercial transaction or even as far as an estate. But it should be clear that these payments are made for and on behalf of the estate, because you don't want to allow any creditors, especially an institution or any other creditors that you're working with, that you're kind of recognizing any liability whatsoever. But if you're making payments on behalf of the estate and it's clear, then no, you are not, by ricochet, assuming any liability.
Okay, great. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Maria.
Thanks.
Sorry again about the 27-minute wait on hold, but
yeah,
Terry will pay
Maria,
you $50.
Please do not forget to send me your email address, and I will send you $50.
Now, we've had a few texts coming in. One in reference to when we said, about trying to do it yourself, do-it-yourselfers out there. And he says brokerage commissions are not nickels and dimes anymore.
No, they're not. But this is when you're setting up that commission, with the broker that's selling it, that's the point where you negotiate, right? So you have to tell them, look, if you sell the house yourself, you're double ending it. I'd like you to not collect 5% commission on this. If you sell it yourself, collect 2% or whatever. It's a conversation that you have to have with your broker. Don't be upset at your broker when he sells the house and he collects 5% commission. That's after the fact. Hindsight's 2020. You got to prepare for yourself, prepare in advance. At Northeast Realties, so our division of Northeast Mortgages that sells real estate, this is part of the conversation that we have. We have packages designed for everyone, right? So depending on what we do, how the transaction goes, we will be compensated accordingly. Period.
Yep. Joe's on the line. Joe wants to know about selling his home in 100 days or less.
Talk to me, Joe.
Yes, a while ago they had the first lady who came on to make that kind of statement.
Mm-hmm.
Now I see there's another one. I think this radio station does plug a couple of them.
Mm-hmm.
And what I wanted to ask is my son and I have a duplex in east part of Montreal.
Yep.
And the first lady I called, it turned out she doesn't do that area.
Mm-hmm.
I'll have to call the second gentleman tomorrow, but I wanted to see what are the pitfalls for this kind of arrangement. Is it that they will put the house at lower than you would probably get with a commissioned realtor, and that's why they can make such a promise, like if we don't sell it, we buy it?
Yeah, so typically what happens is when you sign up to one of these, we'll sell your house in 30 days or 100 days or whatever, they're going to come in, they're going to do an evaluation before they take possession of that property, right? Or before you list it. And they're going to say, we believe we could sell this house for, I don't know, call it $200,000. But in reality, you want to sell your house for $250,000. Okay. So if you agree that if they haven't sold it in 100 days, then they're going to buy it from you at the price that was preset before you actually, when you set it up. I mean, I hate to say it. I mean, it's a marketing thing. It's I don't want to say marketing gimmick because I don't like to use that word, but that's kind of what it is. As long as it makes sense to you, do it. If it doesn't make sense, then don't.
And if I can chime in, actually, it's a really good point. I'm very curious to see what would happen if on day 101 that particular broker cannot actually buy the home. Oh yeah, maybe now's not the right time. Come back and see me in 90 days.
Right.
I mean, how strong is the broker? If he's doing this 5, 6, 9, 20 times, you got to make sure that broker's got the financial, capacity to actually buy back your property. So you want to look at the strength of the broker at the same time.
That's a good point. Thank you.
No problem.
Great. Thanks, Joe. We got a text coming in from Frank. Might you have a name of a lawyer who deals in latent defect cases? The buyer of our home is coming at us with frivolous claims, including an annulment of sale, and I'm too tired to deal with it. Thanks, Frank.
Frank, here I am. Here I am, Frank.
Wrapped
Jamie
in a bow.
Benizri, Legal Logik. Besides the shameless plug, this is such a gray area in the market, latent defects. It's become so rampant in the market to buy a house, you walk in, you find a little bit of, a rat excrement, or you find a little bit of a mold in a very localized, corner of the home, and you're starting to freak out, and you call your broker, and then you want to sue, and then, and there's no end. And the problem is that the law does not clearly define what a latent defect is. So unfortunately, you got to go through the whole legal process. So there really is a massive gray area in the law about latent defects, and we've really made it our mission to educate the market. We have guides available on legallogik.com, the 9 steps that you should take in order to demystify and really walk through that process. So, and we have videos and educational material. So before you even hire a lawyer, and even whether or not you like me or you want to hire me, I definitely think that you should check out some of the material. And just like, Terry's doing with his YouTube show, we've done a similar thing in the legal field just to educate you. But if you have any questions, I'm available anytime.
Thanks, Frank. I just feel bad for Frank. He's like, I'm just too tired.
Yeah, well, you know what? And I will add something else. You got to look at it and say, this has become bigger and bigger lately. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's because there's more light that's being shined on latent defects or whatnot. But what people are sometimes calling latent defects are not necessary.
It's just the age of the home.
Yeah, exactly.
And also small claims we've seen has gone up from 7,000 to 15,000.
Yeah.
So we've seen the multiplication of cases that wouldn't otherwise be in court because it costs too much money to hire a lawyer.
That's right.
People are just filing whatever they find on a whim, and there's no filtration or triage at the small claims level. So things are just going through the system.
Yeah.
That's the voice of Jamie Benizri from Legal Logik. Our guest today, Terry Kilakos, president of Northeast Mortgages. We'll chat about demystifying contracts. Continue with that after the break. If you have questions, give us a call, 514-790-0800, or text us at 514-800. Of course, you can always reach Terry at Northeast Mortgages at 514-680-4674, or watch us on Facebook right now. For now, let's go check on the roads. Here's Kira Yeager.
Oh, I didn't do the.
I have a couple of good texts coming in. Also, should seniors sell as is?
Great question. I didn't do the Canadians thing. Do you want me to do it coming out?
How many times?
Like, seriously, who cares? Plaquenec has been freaking traded.
Get over it, Montreal.
This just in.
Okay.
Plaquenec has been traded.
Here, hang on. I'm just going to do it coming off the break so they can take it out of their spot stuff instead of out of the show. How do you say R-I-N-A-T? Reinat Valiev? Renat Valiev?
Renat.
It's a kid that we got from the Leafs and Kirby Reichel. Renat. I'll say Renat.
By the way, it was called the Facebook until 2004.
Oh, yeah?
All right, boys. Silence, everybody. Silence on the set.
Oh, yeah, you're going to do it now?
The Toronto Maple Leafs acquired forwards Thomas Plekanec and Kyle Bond from the Canadiens for defenseman Renat Valiev, forward Kirby Reichel, and a 2018 second-round draft pick on Sunday. That's it for sports. Don't even know why I said that's it for sports.
I still don't understand why.
It's like big news. I'm surprised.
Big news.
I'm surprised.
You're surprised what?
Yeah. They didn't cancel the show. We're going live after that.
We're going live from
Into the men's locker room.
house. All right, so we'll come back. Do you want to do more text, or do you want to get into?
Let's pump through the text.
Okay.
And let's just give Jamie's website and
sure
contact info also.
Okay.
Thank you.
Well, you're doing it a couple times, so that's good. I like
Yep.
that you're jumping
Logic
into
with
it.
a K.
Logic with a K. Thank you.
So we'll do what's with buyers coming in with 100,000 less than asking, such as on TMR houses at 795,000. Is that one, or do you care about that?
Sure.
That one I don't think Terry is going to be very applicable.
Okay. Do you want that one or no?
What are you talking about, you people?
Can a buyer sue again for a defect after they already did and got 3,000? Now they want again 5 times that.
They're coming back for more?
Can seniors sell as is?
The seniors as is a good one.
Okay, isn't that the agent's job to sell as is for 85-year-old sellers?
That's a good one.
I think we're done.
For me, at least.
What a tease.
What a tease. This is what we do every time. We put ourselves on, we think it's ready to go.
We're on till 2?
Yeah. No. This is fast. Fast like a bunny. It could be on till 3.
I'm staying till 7, by the way.
News on
You're just going to sit on every show, even the pre-taped ones, you'll just jump in. I
good.
agree.
I'm staying here.
What the fuck is up with the
Oh, we're live.
Terry, we're on
live.
Facebook
We're
Live.
live on the Facebook. Just throwing out the F-bombs.
He didn't mean that, ladies and gentlemen.
No one heard anything.
He said what the fork.
I like that CJAD promo on the right over there.
This one?
Yeah, it's good. I should do a similar one.
Yeah.
Have you seen that show, The Good
What
Place?
the fork?
What the fork? Have I seen what?
That show, The Good Place?
No.
Oh my god, you
What's
have
The
to
Good
watch
Place?
it.
Where's
The
it
Good
on?
Place?
Can you see it on Netflix?
Yeah. So it's this girl who dies. She goes to heaven, and she's whatever. It's a mistaken identity. They think that she's someone else.
Okay.
There's a nice, interesting little twist somewhere along.
Oh, look at you not doing a spoiler.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
I want to watch. Do you guys have like HBO shows like Crave TV? I need to use your account because I want to get in there.
Yeah, me too. I want your account.
So can I just log in using your account?
Yeah. Could you let her know what that password is?
Right, because
just
I
say
tried
it live on Facebook.
I really want to watch. The Handmaid's Tale.
Or here's an idea.
I'm not gonna pay $7 a month. I'm from Winnipeg. We're cheap
$7.
bastards. I want to use somebody else's.
Oh, you're a pegger?
I'm a Winnipegger, yeah.
Wow.
And we're cheap.
Wow, Chantal, I lost all respect for
No,
you.
you didn't.
Yeah, totally.
We'll go halfsies.
Totally.
How about you and me go
halfsies.
halfsies?
You and me each pay $3 a month.
Let's do it.
Like Netflix right
You
now.
can
Like
have
I'm
like
not
The Desjardins Benizri account.
Right.
Let's do it.
I'll totally creep on what shows you're watching. You know, how you see different profiles on the account. And you're like, what?
It's a lot of
He's
Teletubbies.
into the Gilmore Girls.
Yeah, a lot of Disney.
We have.
Here we go, everyone. Here we go.
We have a caller coming in also.
We do.
We do.
Who is it?
I don't know.
Kilakos, president of Northeast Mortgages.
Welcome back to the Real Estate Show. Terry Kilakos, president of Northeast Mortgages. Jamie Benizri from Legal Logik with a K. You can call us anytime, 514-790-0800 with your calls, or text us, 514-800. The texts are pouring in today. Everyone wants to talk about that. We've got what's with buyers coming in $100,000 less than asking, such as TMR houses at $795,000. Terry?
Well, you know what? A lot of these houses in TMR have actually had gone up in value in the last little while, and people are trying to get a deal, right? So they are going to come in, they're going to try and lowball them. It's up to the sellers to stand their grounds and, make sure that their values are accepted, But if you're trying to sell your house more than what it's actually worth, you're going to have lowball offers. This is the reality.
Now, can a buyer sue again for a defect after they already did and got $3,000? Now they want to go again for 5 times that.
I got this, man.
Yeah, go for it.
before you try, because I know you will.
Yeah.
You can't double dip.
No,
ladies and gentlemen, you can't double dip. Once you've debated something, you can't just reopen the debate. So if you're going to do it right the first time. Consult someone. Read my guide, consult a lawyer, because once you do it, once the debate is over and you find something else afterwards, you can't reopen that debate unless it's in a different part of the house. It's completely distinct, and you can make that legal distinction. But even then, it's tough because you're supposed to have showed all your cards and been diligent enough to search for anything else that's creeping in the house.
Fair enough.
Is that like double jeopardy and murder?
That's a little too dramatic, but
okay.
it's, yeah. But
Do you also handle murder cases? Is that
I
like
personally will not do murder cases.
Right, okay.
That's why I'm on the real estate show.
But you could if you wanted.
But I could.
Yeah.
The show saves lives.
Yeah.
I'm not here to talk about what happened.
We did save lives. If you want to hear how, go back and watch on Terry Kilakos' Facebook page where we had Ali call in about how the real estate show saved his life.
That's right.
We got a text, shouldn't seniors sell as is? Isn't it the agent's job to sell as is for 85-year-old sellers on a 1948 year built home?
No, it's not the agent's job. It's up to the person to say, I want to sell my house as is. And it's your responsibility yes, your agent should advise you, but at the end of the day, you should be the one that says, no, I want to sell this house as is without legal warranty. What's the exact term? This house is sold without legal warranty.
At your risk and peril.
Yeah.
So it's without legal warranty. That's the legal term that the notary will put in the deed of sale.
Exactly.
And just to pin on that is the perfect textbook answer. Congratulations.
Thank you, sir.
My answer. and I consult brokers all the time, and they're saying, no, if you're a senior citizen, you sell without legal warranty. No, it's not the case. It's not like your civil rights expire after 65, where you're not liable for anything anymore. It's a huge misconception, and it creates a lot of confusion in the market. So like Terry said, yes, be advised, but there's a penalty for selling without legal warranty, right?
Yep,
the market
absolutely.
will penalize you.
Yeah.
Because if you're prevented from exercising your rights, then obviously that comes at a discount.
Yeah, and of course, when you're applying for that mortgage, the minute the bank sees that you're buying a house without legal warranty, the first thing that they're going to do, regardless of whether or not the value has been supported on that property, is they're going to send an evaluator. They're going to want to make sure what's going on with that house. They're going to go in, they're going to look at it, they're going to check for mold, they're going to check for different things like that. You have to realize when a bank is sending in an evaluator, yes, they're sending in the evaluator to verify what what the value of the house is, but they're also checking to see what condition the house is in, right? So if an evaluator walks in and he sees that there's a missing ceiling because the upstairs bathroom had leaked and, has basically destroyed the ceiling, they're not going to lend, or they're going to basically put in a condition saying that, that has to be repaired before it's sold.
Now, Jamie, when sellers fill out their seller's declaration, does that protect them against a buyer coming after them for hidden defects?
Such a good question. This document is so important. It's now mandatory as per the rules of the OACIQ, as my broker buddies know. But this is your opportunity. This is your opportunity to tell all. This is the memoirs of you owning that real estate. So you got to pour your heart into that document. The more you tell, obviously, there's a risk that telling somebody that there was a cannabis grow up in your home is going to lead to a price reduction. But if you don't put that in, and you haven't disclosed it, then it leads the door wide open for the other party to come back and claim it against you.
Right.
So tell everything you know. This is your opportunity to tell all. and protect yourself. Really.
Or a price increase if the cannabis grow up is still there
Right?
and it's producing and
Because
selling.
now it's like income.
With a permit, yes.
Steady
with
stream of income. That's great.
I'm just gonna, with the disclaimer, get that permit if you intend on doing that.
Do not buy grow ups.
That's the biggest advice.
Do not.
The
buy
real estate
grow-ups.
show does not
endorse.
Yeah.
I mean, if they do, we'll come check it out. But just to make sure it's on the up and up. Terry, you must see clients that want to back out of purchases or sales or even mortgages. What advice besides don't buy one with a grow up would you give to potential clients about that want to back out?
Don't. I mean, well, it depends on why you're backing out, right? I mean, it's got to make sense. I had a client a couple of years ago. I kid you not, and this guy, he still hasn't bought a house. So 5 years later, he's still homeless because he's nitpicking at every little thing. He had put He had put an offer on a house in Hampstead, beautiful house. Price was good, everything was golden. He's sitting in the living room with the agents, putting in, doing the offers and stuff like that. Or I think he was doing his home inspection, and his wife was upstairs. She uses the bathroom, flushes the toilet, and he heard the water through the wall, right? So you know, when you're upstairs and you flush, you hear the water. So far, so good. So he's like, "What's that?" And the inspector or whoever's like, "Oh, it's the water flushing." Oh, that would drive me crazy. and the agent,
really?
The inspector was like, "Well, if you want to fix it, you got to basically
tear out the wall
and insulate and do this." And he's like, "Well, how much would that cost?" $10,000. Which it wouldn't cost $10,000, but whatever. Anyways, long story short, he didn't buy the house.
Because of the water sound?
Because of the water sound.
Should have just put music on while it was happening.
Okay, he didn't buy the house because of the water sound, number one. And number two, 5 years later, he's comparing every other house that he sees to that house. So he hasn't bought since.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'm still looking for a house, by the way. I'm still.
Is that you? Was that guy you?
Me crazy.
Guys, we're running out of time. Voice of Terry Kilakos, president of Northeast Mortgages, Jamie Benizri.
We got a couple of callers
from
too.
Legal Lounge. What do we do? Do we just stay on the air all day? Is it going to be the Terry Kilakos? Yeah. Okay, so you're going to have to, the caller, we can call Terry at Northeast Mortgages.
Yeah, absolutely. So
go ahead.
You guys can call me at Northeast Mortgages at 514-680-4674. Visit us online, northeastmortgages.ca. And don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel, newsonthego.ca.
Because you can win some money.
Yeah, absolutely.
And you can reach me. It's not the Legal Lounge, it's Legal Logik.
With Legal a K.
Lounge.
But you know what? It feels like a lounge when you come in. It's really comfortable. Legal Logik with a K, legallogik.com. And you can reach me LinkedIn, Instagram, Snapchat, J Benizri. That's JBenizri. And Legal Logik, 2 L's in the middle with a K at the end.
Wow, that was good. You've said that before. What are we talking about?
I've been practicing for about a week.
What are we talking about next week?
I have no clue.
Okay, good.
I don't know. The producer's over here.
I'm coming back.
Producer, what are we talking about next week?
I'm coming back.
Legal Logik. Thanks, guys. That's it for us. If you want to check out the show, go to Facebook and you can watch it again. See you next week.
The opinions expressed in the preceding program were provided for general information purposes only and should not be construed as advice from CJAD 800 or Bell Media. Listeners should always consult their own real estate agent with
Legal Logik.
What are we talking about? Okay, so original layout and name of the Facebook changed in 2004.
You're still on that?
I'm just telling you.
God,
Okay,
man, he just
there you
wants
go.
to be right. Still on this?
Yeah.
Yes.
They should.
Yeah, well, you could answer some of. I guess the texters aren't watching us on Facebook.
Yeah,
But how do the texts come in? There's like
can you grab the?
I don't know. So
Can you speak to the callers now, Terry?
They show up on my computer screen.
They're gone.
They're gone. They hung up. Okay, so you guys want to say bye to the Facebook community?
I didn't know. Do you have something special for them that the people on the air didn't get to hear?
Jamie,
give them a little
Let's
tidbit.
see. What could we tell you? I want to tell you about. Am I being watched right now?
Yeah.
being watched.
Okay. So I want to talk about contracts really quickly.
Yeah.
Because we're talking about demystifying contracts. We demystified some contracts.
There's so many.
But one thing that people are calling you over and over about, residential leases. When people buy properties through Terry or through whatever, they come in, they're like, okay, great. I'm going to pay my tenant 3 months of rent, and I'm just going to take it over. Huge misconception. You can't buy out a residential lease.
Oh.
So you can't just take over. Once the tenant is there, the tenant can stay there literally for life as long as they pay. And they're not causing any problems. So you can't just pay to take one back. If you want to go into the home and repossess that property, that's also a lengthy process. You got to prove that you're actually moving in. And if you do that process and don't actually move in, you're exposing yourself to massive damages. So you got to be careful with that.
Good.
And really quickly, commercial contracts for all you guys, all you landlords out there that are renting depeners or whatever it is. Be careful. Two things that I'm seeing really, really often: gross versus net leases, and what does it really mean? So gross is when you're paying one amount, it's all in.
Yeah.
The hydros, everything is in there, and the net lease is where it gets tricky because you break down everything, all the components, the base rent, the administrative fees, the insurance, everything is an add-on. So you got to be careful with that. If you have any more questions, Benizri, I'm here for you.
Legal Logik with a K.
Legal Lounge, baby.
Terry saying goodbye.
Peace, everyone.
Bye.
Have a good one.
Bye.